In millet after India.
Our guest tonight is the Chief Executive Officer, Inclusive Access, Safiya Mohammed Adamu, the convener of the National Summit on Health and Skin. Madam, you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, how veritable is the health and skin sector in Nigeria? And, of course, what is the present state of affairs in this subsector?
Well, it's actually a very variable sector, subsector, I would say, because it's a subsector in agriculture. And it's a sector that holds a lot of potential. Very much undertapped, very much utilized, but it has a lot of potential because it's one subsector within the agriculture that really, especially in the livestock area, that can generate thousands of jobs. And, you know, it kind of like bounces down the downstream. Most of the businesses there are family businesses, one generation to another. And if you have one firm, one unit producing, you find that it produces a lot of, that unit tends to contain a lot of skills, different skills, from those who actually turn it, to those who design it, to those who stitch it. It has this large potential for generating jobs and creating wealth.
Now, you just convened a National Summit on Health and Skin. What is the takeaway from that conference? Because we were talking about the value chain in that subsector.
Yeah, the summit actually was convened in order to look at the entire value chain. We wanted to find solution to the disorganization, the disarray within the subsector. We wanted to fix the value chain right from the beginning, from the livestock up to the time it becomes leather. And reason is simple. If we don't fix that value chain, the Nigerian leather sector itself will remain a mirage. It will always be non-optimal, non-efficient, non-effective in production, and we'll be losing so much given the demand across the world now.
All right, you know, Momo is a delicacy in Nigeria, you know, and I don't know, how does it really affect the production of health and skin? You know, because, well, in Lagos, for instance, you know, every home, almost a delicacy, so to speak, you know, right? So what effect does it have in turning out tons of health and skin?
I hear that question every day, and I'm like, yes, there's a large consumption. I don't think it really plays much role in the turning out of height and skin, because if you look at it, the consumption is more in one particular aspect of the country. Yes, it has spilled to other parts of the country, but essentially those who really work height and skin still work very much on height and skin. And remember that Nigeria, long before the pomo spread around, it's always been that the sub-Sahara trade was essentially dominated by height and skin. That's how your Sokoto red got to Morocco to become the Moroccan leather, and how Borno came in the picture of being a large leather producing community. So for me, the Pomo, people always argue it, even the Wabas would consume a lot of it, but I don't think so.
All right, now data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that between 2014 and 2017, Nigeria had surplus of 126.66 billion naira in the international trade of health and skin. If that is true, it means that we have enough, you know, to actually feed the nation's leather industry. Is that true?
We don't have enough. We don't have enough.
Why export?
Because we do export, even though the government has now banned export of raw. They now export what they call the crust. But we don't have enough, because if you look at our tanneries, out of, for example, if you go to like 41 tanneries, only 6 are marginally functional. They were very productive in the 70s, 80s. Right now, they are not. And just few factors are responsible for that. The operators have not been able to move up in technology, one. And two, the sector, like I said earlier, is very disorganized. And unless you have a very organized sector with good governance framework, you will not be able to feed these tanneries. And it is actually more beneficial for them to export the crust. Those who actually produce leather products in Nigeria buy imported, most of them buy imported leather from what we call lots. Lots are remnants from what other countries have used, imported into the country. So they get this ones from Mushin area in Lagos. And that is not good enough for us.
Now, you took up value chain as the topical issue in your summit, which is very important, because if there is value chain addition, in hides and skin, that would be needless exporting the raw hides and skin, which the other nation turn into products and still, bring it back home for Nigerians to. So what can be done to stop this?
Like I said, we're trying to fix the value chain. If we fix the value chain, we are going to promote efficiency and create optimal utilization of what we produce. And if we're able to fix the value chain, which we're hoping to, because that's why we're taking it from the very beginning, livestock, how there was a lot of emphasis at that summit on how animals are bred, how you can get optimal skin from them, and then if you're killing the animal for the skin, what happens to the rest of it? We also that was highly discussed, so that we find that there are markets for the carcass out there. So if there's market, we have no reason not to breed the animals. Of course, Borno, we've lost a lot of it to insurgency. They've gone below, well below optimal production. But Sokoto, Kebbi, and like the Kebbi governor said, it's a very, very viable sector. They could actually breed more of these animals with intent to export using best practice. Acceptable to the rest of the world. And when we talk about best practice, we're also talking about environmental issues,
yes, and
because of course
technology. Thank you very much, Safiya Mohammed Adamu. Thank you indeed for being part of our show tonight. Safiya Mohammed Adamu is the Chief Executive Officer of the Inclusive Access and the convener of the very first summit on hides and skin. Thank you once again for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Sports and weather shortly.